I've asked them to reflect on how reaching out for help facilitated their personal and work experiences and the ways they connected with the host culture and hosts. So we're going to start now.
Sure, so I think I'd like to stress that you don't have to be as worried as you probably are about upholding the MIT reputation. I know in a lot of places that we're going to go, people are going to consider us MIT engineers and maybe they know something we don't. It's almost always the opposite. I think that opportunity to go abroad is an opportunity to take away your MIT tunnel vision. You've learned a lot of stuff here, but everything that you're going to learn in your experience abroad is going to just widen your skill set and be much more advantageous when you come back here to try and solve more problems. So I would say, don't be afraid to ask for help. Everyone will be more than willing to give it to you, and I think you'll learn a lot and come back much better engineer, whatever major you are.
Hi guys, I'm Evan, and so when we talk about asking for help, I think you have to realize that people in other countries know a lot more about that country than we do, and you have to not be afraid to ask for help. You have to be able to trust people. For example, like when I was in Nepal, I needed to get across the city of Kathmandu, and my house was 10 miles away. I didn't have a ride, and I had about 85 rupees, which is 85 cents in my pocket, and I had no way to get home. So I basically had to ask people around me, what bus do I take? I had to figure out, what bus do I take? How do I get on? How do I get on a bus? Because there's just a way to get on a bus in Nepal. How do I like to observe people and trust people that they're pointing me in the right direction? And after 2 hours, I eventually got home, and I had to trust those other people to point me in the right direction, because I have no idea how Kathmandu buses work and things like that. So you just gotta put your faith in other people that you don't know. And I know it's a little scary at first, but you really have to trust those other people, and don't be afraid to ask for that help.
Cool. All right, piggybacking off of what Evan said. My name is Mike. I worked in Germany, and I worked at Continental Corporation in Bavaria. And one thing that I always do when I travel is I get lost. And I don't do it on purpose, but I show up to a city, and I realize I have no idea how to read in the foreign language. I don't know where I am, so I get lost. And that's what happened when I showed up to my first day of work at Continental. I showed up, and of course the whole thing's fenced in because they want to keep their trade secrets secret from everyone. And so I was walking around, following the perimeter of the fence, and the first guy I came up to was, of course, the security guard. And so I was trying to remember my German. I forgot all of it. I said, you speak English? He said, yeah. I said, okay, I'm an American. I'm supposed to work here. I don't know how to get in. He said, yeah, come with me. So I think if you accept the notion that no matter where you are, people are going to be friendly, and probably wherever you are, they're going to speak English, I think you can lose a lot of your anxiety and you can really feel confident in any situation.
Hey everyone, I'm Kevin, and I've done a series of MISTI experiences out in China, Australia, Taiwan, basically everywhere. And I think a common thread in all of these experiences really has been to just do not be afraid to talk to strangers anywhere. And so I remember one of the first times I was abroad, and I think this was in Hong Kong. I got there in the morning, and it's bright out, so you know exactly where you are. And then come nighttime, when I was trying to go back to where I was living, suddenly every building looked exactly the same. And I ended up wandering around the streets for like half an hour trying to figure out where I was, until I finally decided that I was going to talk to a stranger and try to ask for directions. And literally in that moment that I asked the stranger, I found out that I'd been walking 30 minutes in the wrong direction, and that I could have solved my problem so quickly had I just gone out and asked someone for directions. And I think that is definitely something that a lot of you guys can learn about. And then kind of piggybacking off of what Matthew was saying about living up to MIT expectations and everything. When I was in Australia, I was the golden child. I was the example of why Australians should hire MIT students to go work there. And I remember feeling so pressured to live up to this expectation. And honestly, I think a lot of people can understand that you're a student, and although you may sometimes feel like you cannot live up to these expectations, just being able to come out and ask for help, I think, really helped me in making that experience just so much better, and getting a lot of the work done, and actually meeting the expectations and more just by simply asking for help.
I want to add something about the phrase asking for help. It may be easier to ask for directions for help than it is to ask someone for help, or at least a place to sit down and talk when you're having those days you feel overwhelmed or doubtful about what you're doing, either in life or in your internship. Those are really normal. So it's important to find someone at your site or back at home that you can check in with, back at home at MIT, I mean. If you're having some of those days where you feel sort of stuck and gloomy, because it's not a good idea to keep it to yourself. It may fit into this representing all of MIT. You might feel like you have to represent the entire United States of America. This is just you on a couple of bad days where it's a good idea to find someone. It could be your host family, it could be someone you meet at work that you trust, and just say, I'm just having a couple of lonely days, I feel like I'm really missing peanut butter. Whatever it is, you might have days like that abroad, and for a student, it may feel very overwhelming. So it's also sort of common to not want to reveal that you need help for any age, especially when it comes to emotional help, because people don't want to feel like they have a diagnosis. They just are having some difficult days, or even a lot of difficult days. But it's important to ask for help at the front end of those feelings, and to know before you leave who you're going to reach out to. Now, the work world abroad may be quite different from what MIT students are used to in the US. And I'm going to ask your MIT fellows here, were you prepared for periods of time at work or otherwise when you felt that you didn't know what to do with your time? Who wants to?
Yeah. So I think there's the idea that if you're in a different country, all of your free time should be spent exploring that country and trying to do new things. But I think it's also an opportunity to do the same things that you do here, for part of it, but in a new place. And it really makes a big difference. So about a year before going to Germany, I had started ballroom dancing here at MIT. And coming up to MISTI, Germany, I was worried that I was going to have to stop it, but my coach here happened to be from Austria, and I asked him, do you know any coaches, any studios in Germany? And he gave me a whole list for when I got to Berlin, coaches that I could start to learn under and studios to go to. And of course, Germany is a lot better at ballroom dancing than the US. So it ended up being an absolutely amazing experience. I practiced ballroom dancing and went to clubs in 3 cities in Germany, and it was fantastic. So I think it's also, your time abroad is a great opportunity to do something that you do here, but maybe just a different way.
Let's take this out. Boom, there we go. All right, so I think you guys always want to continue to explore the new place that you're in, but if you ever find yourself, just sitting in your room, bored or whatever, one thing that I did that was really great is I picked up a new skill. I had a camera and I was like, hey, I'm going to learn how to make videos, and I ended up making a YouTube channel and a video blog. And that was kind of like something I was exploring over the whole summer while I was in India, and I was like, hey, this is really fun. So if you ever find yourself in that kind of situation, I would, explore, like interpersonally, what can I do? What's something new I can try? And another thing is, I've found a lot of pleasure in seeing the details of a different country, even just watching TV. You turn on the TV in India and you don't find the same TV shows you do here. I learned how to play cricket by watching cricket on TV. So there's little things like that that are very different, but will, I think, really enhance their experience. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's great advice. For me, when I was sitting in my room bored, I was in an international dormitory, and it was during the summer, which meant that there were no students there except for me. I was the only student in a dormitory that held maybe 300 students. And so I was bored out of my mind. So what am I going to do? And so what I ended up doing was I started going out into the city and watching people in the city and see what do they do. And so I watched them. They go try out a different restaurant and get some ice cream and walk around the park. And so I did that. And I went to the city. I knew the city cobblestone by cobblestone. I knew all of it. But then that wasn't enough. And so at work, I was sitting there at lunch, kind of lost my own thoughts. I realized I wasn't participating in conversation. And what I ended up doing was I turned to my German colleagues and just broke into the conversation in English and said, hey, I don't know what to do this weekend. You guys have any ideas? And that's how I ended up finding out about this medieval sword fighting competition. And that's how I ended up watching two guys in full armor with flaming, what are those things that the morning glories. They were on fire, hitting each other on shields. I was like, wow, this is great. And so I guess my advice would be, number one, it's okay to be a tourist in the city that you're living in. That's really okay. Go out and go to the sites and enjoy the city. And number two, if you're feeling lonely at work, ask them for recommendations. It's a great way to start a conversation and a great way to fill up your weekend time.
Alright, I don't got gladiators with flaming weapons and everything, but a little bit more on the relaxing end, I think that's really important, is that when you're overseas, a lot of times I think you'll be stressed, there'll be a lot of things that you feel like you need to do, and I think what's really important is to be able to relax and just enjoy yourself, be in the moment. And so for me, what I actually found was really enjoyable to do was when I was in Australia, I just gave myself a routine. Every morning I'd wake up, cook breakfast, walk half an hour to work. After work, I would take my little walk back home, go to the grocery store, get food, cook dinner. And it was just a very calming experience. And I think compared to MIT, if you guys are all similar to me, it's much better than living at MIT. When you're constantly, grueling over all your P sets, studying for exams. Just being able to relax, do your 9-to-5 job and then be able to relax into routine and just live life, I think. I think that was really, really important for me.
Sounds like living life is actually a practice. And take advantage of that quiet time you may have. Learn a new skill. Even practice meditating or finding places to go for a walk. Or sit in a park for an hour. It's a really long time, and probably not too many people many Americans have actually sat in a park for an entire hour. So there are lots of opportunities here that may seem like empty space. So I think your colleagues here are encouraging you to make the most of all kinds of opportunities. And I think one of them, I'm not sure which one, said, say yes to everything.
Oh, yeah.
Say,
Yeah.
So, you want to say more about that?
Oh, sure. Okay, yeah. I decided my motto when I went to another country was going to be to say yes to everything. And that's because my host family was inviting me out to stuff, and my colleagues would invite me out to stuff. And they would invite me out to things which I was maybe a little uncomfortable doing. So I'll give you one example. Was my boss's boss was a friend of my host family, and he invited me out to go on a 3-day alpine hiking tour. I've never done that. I've never done anything close to that. And, well, I mean, I hiked, but we were talking like hiking through a pass with steel ropes and like carabiners, and it was gonna be nuts. But I said yes, and it ended up being one of the most fantastic experiences of my summer. And I did that with my work colleagues. I mean, it was absolutely amazing. I got to practice my German while I was hiking up this mountain. I got to feel like an alpine climber for a little bit, and I also got to feel like a scared American on some mountains for a little bit. But making an effort to be positive and saying yes to everything your colleagues are offering you to do, I think is a really positive way to make your experience better. Because when they offer to take you somewhere or to make a new experience with you, they're trying to share some of their culture with you so that you can experience the best that they have to offer, the best that their country has to offer. So I think that would be my biggest piece of advice to you would be to say yes when your host family or your workers say, come out and try this with us.
Your host family and your worker colleagues are really your cultural mentors. Remember, we are sojourners when we go somewhere else. We come for a short stay, and as your colleagues have said, we're the visitors, and you're going to learn a lot more about your host culture if you ask questions, ask for help, and connect with those in the host culture. It may be a little uncomfortable, but I think that's your best path. Any other examples?
I mean, piggybacking off of what Michael was saying, everyone, I think most people who know me know that I have like a personal life motto, which is to try everything once. And so I think, whenever you're going abroad, it's really important to be open to everything and, give everything a chance, expand your horizons a little bit. And then I guess my personal advice to all of you guys when you guys go overseas is to be very, very flexible. I think a lot of people have this tendency to make plans and then try to stick to the plan and then just have everything work out perfectly. And the truth of the matter is that, you know, nothing goes as planned. Hardly ever anything ever goes as planned. And so, you know, just be open to change and just enjoy the experience.
We're going to finish up by having your colleagues here give some more recommendations and advice to all of you about things they wish they had known before they left.
Yeah, guys, I kind of mentioned this before, but I think definitely one thing that is like the most important thing, and it's really hard to do at first, is to trust people. Trust strangers. Trust. Yeah. But be smart about where you are, and trust people that that are willing to help you and know the environment better than you, because that will definitely benefit you on your trip. And when you do that, when you have an open mind, when you say yes to everything, you end up eating dinner with a colleague on a traditional Indian meal on a banana leaf. You do some really fun stuff and really cultural explorative things. So yeah, I would say trust people, guys, because people are there to help you.
Sure. So I would say, as was sort of mentioned previously, be prepared to be a repeat offender of MISTI and actually be excited and plan on it. I would say going on your first trip, and you're probably going to visit, at least in most cases, some neighboring countries. Figure out in each country, hey, could this be my next MISTI destination? I know when I was in Germany and learned a bunch of stuff about the way they do research there, and that led into my research at MIT, and that experience of me getting comfortable with going and working in different cultures what led me to then go to India. And going to India and working with the people there and learning how they work then made me ready to, in the following IAP, go to Haiti, which was not a MISTI-sponsored trip. I think it's technically too dangerous for MISTI right now. But Haiti was an amazing experience, and I don't think that if I had gone on each previous trip, I would have gone on the next one. And I certainly, for my mom, if I didn't go to Germany first, she wouldn't let me go to India. And if I didn't go to India, there's no way she would let me go to Haiti. So I would say be prepared to go on multiple trips, and definitely always keep an eye out for your next country.
I can say, so I know I just said you should say yes to everything. And you can let your coworkers and your host family know the sorts of things that you enjoy doing as well. For me personally, I really like medieval history, and so I told my host family, like, I'm in Germany, I know you guys have castles, bring me to the castles. And they picked up on my enthusiasm, and they picked up on my enjoyment of old history, and they really went out of their way to make sure that I had the best experience possible. I went to so many castles, I can't remember how many I went to. I think it was like 14, but, well, let's just say you should say yes to everything that they offer for you to do, but you should also give them some options for them to take you places. So let them know what you're interested in, and they will work with you.
And I guess to wrap things up, I don't know if you guys have been looking at me, you probably noticed that I've been smiling all night. And so one of my recommendations for you guys would be to always have a smile on your face. I think you'd be surprised about how much a smile will do, especially when you're in a foreign place and you're kind of lost and kind of scared. Just smiling will put people at ease and just make people more interested in trying to help you. So yeah, definitely keep smiling, and however bad things get, they can always be worse. So just smile, you laugh about it in the future. After you get through it, it'll be a great story to tell.
Okay, well, I think we'll end it on an up note. Thank you very much for staying with us.
Thank you very much. I think that the whole philosophy of MISTI is really about when you travel abroad, when you go to learn abroad, rather than staying on the periphery of a culture, you really become an active participant and a doer in that culture, and that's why we do international education the way we do. And so I feel like the four of you really just embody that whole spirit. So thank you for your advice. Thank you, Janice, for your presentation and for leading our panel. Let's give a round of applause for everyone. I want to make sure before everyone heads out that you did check in. There's a leak outside on the chalkboard, so you check in, let us know you were here tonight. And before everyone heads off to enjoy some food and some music and taking photos in the international photo booth, I do want to just take a minute to say a big thank you to all the MISTI staff that makes this all possible for everyone. So thank you so much, everyone, and please enjoy the food and the